Want to know what my biggest pet peeve is in every single internet discourse? It's people missing the point. And this goes for both sides of the argument, both on the defense and on the offense. People end up talking about the wrong things, be it intentional or not, and the entire argument gets obfuscated. Sorry if I sound upset while recording this, but in truth I am. I was taken from my reading of my new favorite textbook, Algorithms by Jeff Erickson. It's a great read, much better than my previous textbooks, and forced by my own volition to make a video about this. It's because I keep seeing video after video on Pirate Software, and every time I do, I see people lose sight of the main issue. It's not about the code. The code is part of the issue, but analyzing and reviewing and fixing his code is asinine. Heartbound is fine, it runs fine, its code serves its purposes fine. So then, what is the issue? Well, the issue is not just the code, it's who the code was written by and who he claims to be. Before I get into this, I would like to immediately make my stance crystal clear. I dislike Pirate Software. I think he's an arrogant fraud, and the way that he's being called out by the YouTube community is deeply pleasing to me. I just want to get that out of the way, now back to my argument. I want you all to notice how, even though Undertale's code is disgusting, nobody's making callouts in code reviews of Toby Fox. Nobody has called out RobTop for the often hacky code of Geometry Dash. What is the difference between those indie developers and Thor? The issue is who Thor claims to be. What I see many of the newer drama videos lacking is an acknowledgement that, regardless of if Thor's code works, it is extremely unbecoming of a supposedly 20 years of experience developer. Many of the latest videos on the topic deal with looking at the performance of Heartbound, seeing if it can or can't be run on a smart fridge, criticizing the gameplay or story, etc. These videos, I feel, completely miss the point of the drama, and they don't do justice to where this all started. Stop killing games. I'm gonna shift my attention to a video I saw saying that Heartbound's code was fine. It's this video here, it's a pretty good watch, I'll link it in the description. Please don't hate on this creator, I actually quite like their video. Most of the points that were made in this video are correct, but only in a vacuum. Thor's code isn't that bad, especially for what you'd see in indie game development, where developers often aren't trained software engineers or equivalent. Although I am talking out of my ass here, I genuinely have no clue. I'm just kind of assuming given how many Zero to Hero stories there are, think Undertale, Stardew Valley. Well, that's probably just confirmation bias. I'm sure there are a lot of trained software engineers that became indie game developers. Point is, Thor's code isn't that bad for what you'd see compared to other indie games, and it definitely works for his purposes in Heartbound. I do have some problems with the last point that was made in his video regarding the giant array, but I'm not going to get into it here because it's a bit more technical. His code is definitely functional, and it works for the purposes of Heartbound, but that isn't the point. Whether or not his game can run on a smart fridge, whether or not there's a semantic difference between using true or false and 0 and 1, whether or not the magic numbers in his code affect readability, the issue is not that. The issue is that his code is unprofessional. And not only is his code unprofessional, but it's written by someone who claims to be some sort of expert. Thor claims to be some uber dev, 20 years of experience, Bob Ross of programming elite hacker, and yet he writes code like I did when I was 10 years old creating Roblox studio games, immediately jumping to the obvious solution instead of planning out a scalable design. He writes code like the kids that I teach who don't understand the importance of using a boolean literal or an enum over a number literal even if they're semantically the same thing, who don't understand the importance of making sure that every line of code is readable at first glance. Think about this, he is supposedly a developer with 20 years in the industry writing production code, and yet he shows design knowledge that I was showing when I was 10 years old. You learn about nested structures in your first year of high school computer science, and yet Thor has naively opted for a giant array over a struct or whatever else GML offers. While I'm on the topic of GML, I want to avoid any of the, you haven't used GML, it's so much more limited than whatever language you've used. Here is a better implementation of a storyline array, using only variables and arrays, two things that GML definitely had when Thor started this project. I use JavaScript in writing, as both JavaScript and GML are dynamically typed languages. Feel free to pause and read the comments I left in my code that explain how my system works and how to maintain it, along with some other issues Thor has brought up in the past and how my system works around them. Feel free to skip if you don't care about a technical explanation. And then, after writing code that is reminiscent of Baby's first video game, he has the audacity to use his experience to claim to be an authority on game development related issues like Stop Killing Games, an incredibly important petition for the future of video games. And that there is the issue with Pirate Software. It's not that his code is bad, it's that his code proves he is a fraud who acts like an authority on game development, even though he has as much experience as a teenager making their first passion project. So the next time he uses his experience to appeal to his own authority in an argument, you should mentally associate him with a little kid writing their first Hello World program and bragging to their friends that they're a hacker.